All right, so Dallas Cowboys rookie mini camp is in the books, ended yesterday. Um, so what I had been hearing, of course, you know, Tyler Guyton, we know about what he's been doing, working with Duke Manyweather, um, working on, his, techniques and stuff, for trying to just basically transition over to that left tackle position. And, you know, I just, love how, he has just from the jump, like when he first got drafted, he came in and he was very eager to learn, and get preparated and ready for the season, working with Duke Manyweather from the jump. And that is great. That is amazing. You know, I think, if you ask me, I think Tyler Guyton, he is definitely, trying to get himself well prepared. So, and then, there's other guys. There's Cooper Beebe. We heard from Ryan Flournoy, um, Kalen Carson, Justin Rogers. Justin Rogers heard, his press conference, and, he basically came in and he said that, they brung me in here to stop the run, so. And obviously, we heard that from Mozzie Smith last year, but I feel like as a defensive tackle, you kind of have to have that mindset, like they brung you in to stop the run. And he talked about wanting to get, down to that 320 range. The reporters kind of asked him, what is it, about that number that just, you feel so comfortable with? And he just feels like, hey, I just feel like 320. I'm more twitchy, when I'm at 320 compared to 330, or 325 or something like that. He just feels like he's more twitchy. Don't want to lose too much weight, like that's, of course, the problem with Mozzie Smith last year. Dan Quinn was trying to make him more of a, three tech, trying to make him a pass rusher when, that's just not really Mozzie's game. That was never his game in college when he was at Michigan. And I don't know if that was ever really his, game when he was in high school and middle school and etc. So you gotta play within their strengths. So, Justin Rogers, Mike Zimmer knows what he brings to the table as a run stopper. And, he wants to make himself a little more twitchy, of course, to give himself a little bit of a benefit if, as far as the pass rush, ability, if need be. So, and speaking of guys getting their weight down, Cooper Beebe, dropped a little bit of weight. Obviously not nothing like Tyler Biotish esque or anything like that, but he dropped a little bit of weight. Just trying to get himself, of course, in shape. So, I forget what the number exactly was. I just know that Justin Rogers trying to get down to 320. Of course, a few weeks ago in the off season, we heard about Overshown trying to, of course, gain, what is it, like 15 pounds or something like that, because he's trying to transition to becoming that run stopping, linebacker, that Mike Zimmer wants. Now, he still, of course, shows, quite a bit, in the pass coverage game. But speaking of linebackers, Maurice Louis Fowl, who was, out there working, and I really, like what the kid, is trying to bring to the table, you know. Of course, I heard, about him, like in the Senior Bowl, like he was calling out the, calling out the offense, of the opposing team. I mean, he knew what they were running before they knew what they were running, you know. And right now, from all the good things I'm hearing about him, including that, he gives me, big Sean Lee vibes. So, but, I'm hearing, from Mike McCarthy, you know, that, he looks comfortable. Cooper Beebe, he looks comfortable, and Mike McCarthy doesn't really show you his hand, doesn't really show you tell too much, like doesn't want very much normally to get out there in public. But so when they asked him about Cooper Beebe and he says that he looks comfortable, looks very comfortable out there, then yeah, he's ready. So that's really all my thoughts as far as, rookie minicamp coming to a close, so to close this out, I feel very strongly about this draft class, of course. Much better than I did last year, even though I still think that, we're giving last year's draft class a little bit, too much criticism. But I feel much more strongly about this draft class just because of the fact that we addressed so many needs. Last year, it felt like we were just kind of like, like trying to, basically get depth because we felt like, we brung back a lot of our guys, and we brung in, veteran, like free agents as well, like Gilmore and Cooks, that we felt like we were pretty locked and loaded, that we really didn't need much through the draft except for depth. So, this draft, though I feel so much more strongly, about it, I think a lot of these guys, can definitely be key contributors, including, of course, Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe, but also guys like Maurice Louis Fowl, who I think he could be a starter week one. And Justin Rogers is probably going to be a starter, because we needed to address that defensive tackle position that was a little thin. We had a little bit of a hole there, and Justin Rogers could, very well possibly become that. And of course, you got in other rounds like Nathan Thomas, who you never know, he could be that unsung hero that no one's talking about, but, probably more of a depth guy who, could come in as far as, in emergency. But overall, I feel real, good about, these rookies. OTAs, of course, is going to now be coming up, but let me know y'all's thoughts, on all of this. So, to all my audience, to all of Cowboys Nation, this is Mr. Cowboys Fan, out.